I'm going to go in 2024. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce actually make it. I'm predicting that they get married and they have kids.
Where do you like get married when you're Taylor Swift?
Pretty much anywhere, because I'm almost certain that anywhere would probably give it to you for free just to have the PR that Taylor Swift's got married here. All right, it's 2024. It's our first show of the year. Connor Ann, how was your holiday break?
It was really good. It was a lot more chill than it usually is. I feel like I always try and do something dramatic, but since this year is going to be pretty dramatic with traveling, I was like, I'm just going to sleep 10 hours a day. So it was perfect. How was yours?
Mine was actually pretty chill too. It was the first time in 35 years of existence that I didn't have family over for Christmas. So my family this year all decided to go to different cities to do the in-law Christmas. And so I'm married to a Jewish girl and we have nowhere to go for her side of the family. So we ended up staying home, me, my wife, and my dog. So mine was very chill. And it was actually kind of nice. I thought it was going to be lonely, but it actually wasn't, because sometimes the holidays can be stressful, or especially when you're stuck with family for like days on end, you travel somewhere and go and like visit and stay in their homes. That could be a little much. So it was kind of nice.
I feel like, and this can be like a funny point of contention at a lot of family Christmases. Do you stay in a hotel? Do you stay in the guest room? I feel like I'm a guest room type of person, because sometimes like those little conversations you have in the morning in your PJs while drinking coffee are like the best bonding you can have. But
Yeah,
I totally am not above going and staying in like an Airbnb next to where your family lives. I think if you have like like if you have your husband or you have your kids, do that. It's so stressful to stay at someone's. I mean, even your best friend, it's like you're just up in their, in their grill and in their space. I don't know. I get it.
and anything longer than staying at someone's house for 2 to 3 days feels like you're preparing to move in. So I cannot go and stay in someone's house for more than 3 days. Really, 2 is my max, but 3 if I really like love you and adore you. But yeah, to your point, it feels like you're encroaching in on their space after that 2 to 3 day mark.
Shout out to Pia, my best friend that lives in Australia. I slept on her couch in her tiny apartment for 2 straight weeks with her and her fiance.
Yeah, you were like their daughter.
I literally was. And then they'd be like, are you coming home? Where are you?
Yeah, they're checking up on you. They're like, should we put an air tag on Connor Ann? Because we need to know where she is. Yeah.
And it was the kind of thing where like I would sneeze and the whole house could hear it. It was not, thank you if she's listening. That's so nice.
All right, so this show for today, we are kicking off 2024 with predictions. Connor Ann and I are going to look into our crystal ball, and we are going to predict some things. And then at the end of the year, we're going to see how good we are at this, and we're going to revisit this and see if our predictions came true. So it's our first ever prediction show. We're going to kick it off with a question. Last year, we did a ton of pods about Taylor Swift. Her relationship with Travis Kelce, combined with her Eras tour, sucked up all of the oxygen in the room. And a fun side travel fact about Taylor Swift: in Cincinnati, Ohio, just after 2 nights, the region's travel and tourism board reported that Swift's visit contributed $90 million to the greater Cincinnati area, which is insane. So Taylor Swift was actually a travel powerhouse in 2024. And my question for you, and then we'll jump into more travel related topics, is do Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce make it in 2024?
Before I answer that question, Taylor Swift is a travel related topic. There was a whole article that I just read about how it's like it's something about how the environment is happier when Taylor Swift doesn't have a boyfriend. And it was talking about how much she spent on just traveling to see Travis.
Oh my God. Leave the girl alone.
She's travel related. But I think, I mean, sure, why not? Like, I don't really have too much of an opinion about it. Everybody who's listened to the pod knows that I think that it's a PR stunt, but I'll shut up and be able to accept that they're in love. I'm willing to accept that now. So my answer is yes.
Okay, my answer is also yes, but for a different reason than yours. And I don't know if you can weigh in on this as a woman, but I think Taylor Swift is 34, 35 years old. So she's getting near that point for a woman where it's like the last few innings if you want to have a family. So I think that it's going to be yes, because I think it's actually a timing thing where Travis Kelce entered her life at the right time. And supposedly she wants to settle down and have a family and have kids. So I'm going to go in 2024, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce actually make it. I'm predicting that they get married and they have kids.
Where do you like get married when you're Taylor Swift?
Pretty much anywhere, because I'm almost certain that anywhere would probably give it to you for free just to have the PR that Taylor Swift's got married here, which also is an insane thing because she's what, a billionaire now. And it's so crazy that the more famous and the more rich you become, the more free things that you get. It's probably maddening for people who don't get free things, but Taylor Swift probably will pay next to net nothing for her wedding. And she could afford to throw a $10 million wedding that's like a drop in the bucket.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And we'll try to talk a little less about Taylor Swift on the pod, or else we're changing the title to Taylor Nerds. So
Yeah.
You gotta, Okay. Second question. In the background, 2023 was a turbulent year for travel management companies due to the action of American Airlines. We're mad at them right now. For those of you who don't know, American Airlines for the longest time would sell all their fares for the same price on most, if not all, sites. So these content agreements, they call them, made it so shoppers don't have 8 browser tabs open while shopping for a flight. At the same time, the airlines have wanted more control of their content and fares while pushing this new tech and distribution standard called an NDC. And we use this at Allfly, NDC, Direct Connect. So you can think of NDC as a direct connection straight to the airline. And American has been pushing NDC because it helps them save money on fees paid to the GDS companies, which are like Sabre and Amadeus. And this is basically how we see flights on our end. So American started holding back flights from them. They had different prices if you shopped on NDC directly or through a platform like Expedia or Concur. And many in the industry have called this American's war on GDSs and TMCs. So does American Airlines continue its war on travel agencies in 2024? And do other airlines join in?
So it's a great question. It is a question that's at the center of every company's mind, every travel manager, because the net result is your travel program will be more expensive if you don't have the right tooling. So do you want to take this one first?
I do, because I have a strong opinion about it. I like the old adage by Napoleon: never interrupt your enemies while making a mistake. And I think American continues to make it difficult for travel management companies. And I think the other airlines let them go down this path alone, which is interesting. They're not hopping on the bandwagon. So in our business, we've seen a few customers avoid American hubs when picking team offsites. And we had a client the other day picking between Dallas, Phoenix, San Francisco? And they ended up going with San Francisco because they'd rather fly heavy United than heavy American Airlines. So
wow.
I don't know. I think they're stepping in the fire on this one. And I think that they expected other airlines to follow suit by now, and they just haven't.
That's a very good take. So I think that the push for NDC is real, and I think that it'll continue to accelerate in 2024. If you're a business or a company that is on Concur or some other legacy platform, or even worse, if you have your employees book via email, you're going to be in big trouble in 2024. So the airline industry is one of copycats. So for example, JetBlue raised their check bag fees years and years ago. And within weeks, every other airline basically did the same exact thing. Now, the interesting part about American is on an earlier earnings call, they went through a massive effort to get people to either shop direct on their website or go through NDC. And the interesting part is it had no effect on revenue. So they didn't make more money, but they didn't lose money. So as of right now, to the bottom line, it's neither a good thing or a bad thing. It's kind of neutral. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how things shape up in 2024 because this whole thing, the push for NDC and direct shopping, it makes everything more complex and it makes it more expensive for companies like ours to operate our business as customers really demand a seamless experience. So it puts a lot of pressure on us. So I think that the real answer is probably that American continues because I think they're just going to continue to go down this route. And I
Yeah.
think other airlines watch from the sidelines, but I think that they'll take a less aggressive approach and they'll start to pull some fares, starting with basic economy fares from the GDS. So I think other airlines will be more measured. But it's an industry of copycats, so I'm not holding my breath for any kind of outcome.
It makes me think of the raises for pilots. Remember when they had
That's a
like
good
the
one.
big,
Yeah,
and that started with American, if I'm remembering correctly. And
correct. Yeah.
then every single other airline they had no choice. They're like, all right, we're either competing against whatever that raise percentage was for American, or like these pilots will jump ship. And, I don't know the loyalty parameters around like being a Delta pilot, and then American gives a bigger raise. And I don't know. All I remember is Delta did like 40% or something, and everyone lost their minds. Okay, what's the next question?
Is 2024 the year where an AI powered travel agent platform takes off? Is there going to be a popular product that is AI powered and chat based to help you plan your vacations? Connor Ann, what do you think?
I think it sounds nice. It sounds very convenient, but I'm going to go a little contrarian here and say no.
Mm,
Um, Something interesting happened with Expedia a while back. I was reading this Skift article about it, and Expedia laid off 100 people recently, and this was mostly from their AI and data teams. It would suck to be on an AI team, like changing the game, and then AI is smarter than you, and so you get fired. That would suck. But basically, AI was not contributing to their bottom line. So there are a few problems with AI. The first one's personalization. We live in a client server world, right? So like, what does that mean? This means when you go to Expedia's website, Expedia only knows about you from your interactions on the website. So you only have an identity inside of Expedia's world. So Expedia can't access your Chrome search history. It doesn't know about the Airbnb you booked and loved last year. So the internet is it's very siloed. So in order to get personalized results that really matter, you'd have to input so much information up front for Expedia or any other website to take like an opinion and a value judgment on what kind of travel you like. So with that being said, I think no, because chatting back and forth with AI is slow. I think it would drive people bananas, and maybe in 5 years, but in today's day and age, I don't think so.
I have to tend to agree with you here as well. So people wave AI around like it's some kind of magic wand. And it's amazing. And we use it probably every day inside of our business, but it's not a magic wand. And for travel, I totally agree with you. I do not think there will be a major platform to break through where AI chat is the center of the product. So users become accustomed to experiencing products in a certain way. And for the last 3 decades, for better or for worse, we have been training billions of people to type in some kind of input, like where do you want to go? What kind of flights do you want to see? And whether it be flights, hotels, or cars, you basically put in an input and you receive the results in a matrix-like grid, flush with pictures, reviews, and descriptions, right? It's fast and it just works. So I'm not really sure how you improve upon that experience, especially with chat, where it's prone to errors. It puts a lot of pressure on the user to have the right input to get the right output, where often a search box is usually good enough. So I think that travel planning and travel research is actually close to hitting its final form. And I don't think that you can improve on it that much, similar to an iPhone, right? The iPhone for the last 5 to 10 years has been largely unchanged, right? I just upgraded my wife's phone from a 12 to a 15, spent $1,000, and she looked at it and she's like, well, this is just like my old phone.
I know. I got the
And
new
I'm
one
like,
and I
geez.
was like, I took a picture and the picture quality is better, but that's literally the only thing I've noticed. That and it might hold a charge for an extra hour, maybe, but it's really not
Totally.
that different.
Yeah, so it's close to hitting its final form, right? So I'm kind of in your camp. I think that there's a lot of hype around AI, but I think for travel, I don't think it's going to have as much of an impact on the consumer search side as people think.
Not yet. I can definitely see it like in futuristic 5 years from now. You can just speak into your laptop, book me on a Southwest flight at 8 a.m. It'll do it. But yeah, I agree.
Next question, two crazy stats about solo travel. So first, booking.com reported a 42% increase in solo traveler bookings between 2021 and 2022. Hostel World saw a 25% increase in solo bookings in 2023 compared to pre-pandemic levels. So, Connor Ann, will solo travel continue to grow in 2024?
42% increase in a year. That's crazy. That's nuts. Yeah, I absolutely think so. There's something I've been getting promoted on the internet. They keep sending me ads for something called small group tours. And this has become more popular than I've ever seen it. But basically, it's a bunch of people who want to travel solo, but they want to pay for an experience and an adventure that's planned by someone else and go with a bunch of strangers. So this is something I've seen more and more often. I had a girlfriend that just did it and she said it changed her life. She went to the Dolomites in Italy and went on a 10-day expedition with a bunch of strangers. But it's quote unquote solo travel, right? I think it's definitely a growing trend. It's not slowing down. I think post-COVID, people are feeling the need to find their own interests, find what they're into, independence, self-discovery. All of these things are now like coming to the forefront of our lives. I think people are looking at trying to be more independent. Hang on. I said I think that like 30 times. Matt, take this part out. Advancements in technology have made it easier and safer to travel. I think travel booking platforms, online communities, mobile apps that connect solo travelers, they have resources, information, other travelers, post-COVID world, reducing feelings of isolation, right? So yeah, I think that it's going to not slow down at all. And I also think I want to take a solo trip. I feel like I do this often, so it doesn't even count. I feel like I travel alone all the time. But taking a trip that's not for work or not to see family members and really just going to be by myself. I don't know if I've ever like really, really done that. Well, I have, but I moved there. I would like to go and just like do a city all by myself for no reason. That'd be nice.
I'm going to take the other side of this coin, and I think solo travel will be fading over the next few years. But I do think it's different for different groups of people. So it's a little nuanced here. So I think that solo travel will continue to be bigger for aging adults. I read this interesting article saying how women over 50 are engaging in solo travel at an alarming rate. I think that millennials made solo travel popular, and it will continue to be big with them. But I think the future doesn't look great for solo travel. And I think that I can rest this on Gen Z. So don't cancel me, but I think this could be a little bit of a controversial take. I think that there is no
way. Out of
way
everything we've said on Travel Nerd, you're not getting canceled for whatever
true.
you're about to say.
All right, I'm gonna take it down then. So I think for Gen Z, I think that there is no way they travel solo at scale, right? So traveling solo, if you really think about what it entails, traveling solo requires a special type of person and a skill set that died with that generation. So you're right on the cusp. You're actually in millennial, right? You're turning
I'm a millennial
28 this year.
If anybody
You're a
needs
millennial.
to know.
If anyone needs to know, she will dress like a Gen Z from time to time. But she is in our camp with
I'm
the
just
millennials.
trying to fit in.
Now, so your personality, Connor, if I'm thinking about it, you're perfect for solo travel because you're warm, you're friendly, you'll go up to people, strangers, and make friends with them. So solo travel fits directly inside of your your persona, right? You also are not glued to your phone. So one of the biggest troubles that I have with you is I'll text you and I won't hear back for hours. That's because your phone is not on you, right? Like you're not responding to anyone quickly,
Yeah,
let
it's not
alone
just
me,
you.
right? It's
I
not
try to
just me.
have like 3 hours a day where I leave it at home and then go to the grocery store.
Yeah, which is insane. Like I always need it next to me, but whatever. But I was thinking that solo travel basically dies with the Gen Z generation because have you ever been out to dinner and watched a group of like 18 to 24-year-olds be at dinner with one another? They're all on their phones. So many times I've talked with someone who's part of Gen Z and they don't even know how to carry a conversation. Like they don't
Yeah.
know how to talk to adults and they themselves are adults. So I don't think that group travel is in the cards for them, and I don't think that they would be good solo travelers. I am definitely happy to be wrong, but just based on watching Gen Z people at dinner just be so bad at socializing with one another, I'm saying the future does actually not look bright long term for solo travel for this group.
I think too that we're such an anxious bunch in this post COVID world. I think everybody has so much anxiety. I think for most people, the thought of traveling alone in a group of other people traveling alone scares the shit out of people. They're like, I don't want to go out with a bunch of strangers and have to like socialize in a place I don't know. Like, I think our anxiety levels are so much higher in, 2024 that I can also see how that could be a factor in it slowing down.
All right, next question. So, sustainability has been a really big issue in the world and especially in the travel industry in the past years. Last year, we did an episode on Japan Airlines allowing customers to rent clothes at their location to decrease the amount they have to pack in an effort to reduce emissions. Connor and
Psycho.
I both call BS.
Crazy.
Okay, but the question is, Connor, will the push for sustainable travel pick up steam in 2024 or will it begin to fade?
I can't see a world where it begins to fade. First of all anybody cares about is climate risk management and making sure that their company, even if they're not, appears green. Right. So, like, I think the business landscape in 2024 is super dynamic. I think all of these firms are trying to be ready for the future. And if they're not putting sustainability at the core of their corporate strategy, I think they stick out like a sore thumb because everyone else is trying to do it. And sustainable business models where profitability converges with societal impact, those are the businesses that will strive, in my opinion.
Interesting. Okay, I'm going to take the other side of the coin again here, and I'm going to say that sustainability will actually fade in 2024, and I'm going to say that it has to do with politics. So when Democrats are in power, sustainability and green initiatives definitely get pushed. I don't think that 2024, it's an election year. I don't see a world where the Democrats actually win this year. And I think that the Republicans will take more of a position of power inside of our government. And I think that people are starting to look more critically if ESG and DEI and all of these popular trends that have been pushed upon us over the last few years, if people are going to really look into the merits, and I'm not saying that sustainability has any kind of like it's a complex topic. It's something real that the earth and that mankind is going to have to contend with. But I think that everything that gets pushed in under the umbrella of sustainability, there's a lot of stuff that's BS. And I think that people will start to take a more critical look about what does it mean to really make an impact? Like me changing my light bulbs to green light bulbs in my house makes no net impact. But there was a moment in time that we were told that that's what we should do if we wanted to help the environment, right? So
Yeah.
I think that people will start to think more critically. I think that the Democrats lose control of the government this year. And I think with that, the Republicans usher in an era that kind of pushes sustainability to the side. I'm not like putting my foot strong in the sand here, but if I had to make a prediction, that's what I would say is going to happen in 2024.
No, I agree with you. I think a lot of sustainability now is optics. It's all optics,
Yeah.
and there's not a lot of impact that we're seeing, or at least we don't really hear about the results, do we? We just hear you need to be doing this, and then you don't see a lot of, anyways. But I would love to do an episode about politics, which I truly know
Oh,
nothing about. So I don't want to do it in the way that everyone else does it, but I would love to do the history of who's been put in office, Democrat versus Republican, because I'm pretty sure that it goes back and forth every single person throughout all of history. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not positive. So wait until that episode, you guys. I'm not sure if that's the truth, but I heard that somewhere and I was like, that's insane. Like every single person was Democrat, then Republican, Democrat, then Republican. And in the history of presidents, it's never been consecutive from person to person, same party. Anyways.
ooh, great question. So I think the IPO market will heat up in general in 2024 after being very cold for the last few years. There is a lot of cash sitting on the sidelines, and we avoided that dreaded recession that so many people were calling for in 2023. Interest rates may also get cut as inflation cools, and AI is going to become very deflationary for a lot of businesses and tech companies. So all of this, I think, will make a very good market for travel companies to finally go public. And my pick for a company that has some age to it, it's made a lot of moves in the past few years, and I think that it's preparing to go public, and that company is Hopper. So
Ooh.
Hopper is a Montreal-based travel app and website specializing in flight and now hotel price predictions. And it has emerged as a potential contender for an IPO in 2024. So here's why. First of all, there is a booming travel market. Hopper reported 80 million app downloads, which is a pretty sizable user base.
Yeah.
And they also have reported an annual reoccurring revenue, so ARR, exceeding $200 million, and boast actually a user base of over 70 million people. And Hopper is not yet consistently profitable, but you've seen things where they've been laying off staff, they've been trimming some fat, they've introduced some new programs that are more geared towards enterprise, so in theory higher value, and it looks like they've been diversifying their revenue streams. And so these are all things that companies usually do before they go public. So Hopper is my pick for 2024.
That's a good one. I use Hopper. So 80
Do you?
million downloads, that makes sense. I don't
Do you
ever,
really use it?
I use it just to like gauge. So if I need to go to
Oh.
Greenville, South Carolina to visit a friend, I'll like see what weekend is best. I don't do anything in the app other than just use it as like a point of reference, but I do have it. I mean, if you've never used Hopper, you probably still downloaded it at one point in time and it's on your phone.
So that's a good point.
It trended for a hot second there. Okay. Travel companies, I think will go public in 2024. I'm going to go with Navan, formerly known as Trip Actions. And when companies are about to go public, they do a lot of stuff to prepare. I just looked this up this morning, so I feel like I got it down to a science. But predicting an IPO can be tricky, of course. The signs that they might be prepping for a jump, in this case for Navan, here's their signs. Financial performance. So they're trying to show strong, consistent financial performance, increasing revenue, profitability, customer growth, all of that good stuff. Navan has reported a revenue growth exceeding $1 billion. Hello, in 2023. And they've also secured significant funding. So they're raising over $1.4 billion to date. That is a really big sign. That's sign number one. Sign number two, corporate governance. I also, like I said, I learned this morning, you guys. I don't know a lot about IPOs, but it is very interesting. Pre-IPO companies, they tighten up their corporate governance practices. So they're trying to form independent board of directors. They're adopting stricter internal controls. So Navan has brought on experienced executives with public company experience. That's a green flag. Acquisitions and divestitures. I also didn't know that word until today. Sometimes companies acquire or divest assets to streamline their business and focus on their core offerings right before IPO. So Navan recently acquired Reed & Co. This is a corporate travel management company to expand more of their offerings. And then last thing would be a hiring spree. Pre-IPO companies beef up their teams, particularly in accounting, legal, finance, investor relations, things like that. Navan has been actively hiring across various departments, including finance and legal, probably and potentially in preparation for an IPO. So that's my answer. I could see that happening too, just based on how, I mean, I've worked at Allfly for what, a year and a half, and Navan has come so far just in that time. So I could see this happening too. And specifics for Navan would be like, they're expected to grow in the coming years. Like I just said, they've grown in the past year and a half like crazy. And then several analysts said that they've speculated Navan in 2024 will go to IPO, even though they haven't made any official announcements. So these are just signs. It doesn't necessarily guarantee it, but it looks like they're ramping up for it.
It would be pretty cool for our sake if both of them are go public and we're both right. It's good for travel companies in general, especially younger travel startups, to watch our peers go public and be successful. It's very encouraging, and it provides a better kind of path and way forward for the rest of us. So wishing Navan and Hopper success in their IPOs this year. All right, final question. This is a personal one for you and I. We are going to some insane places for work this year. This will be the most international year of our life. Yeah. The list makes us sound like we're humble bragging, but it is for work and it is hard work.
But it is the truth.
But someone has to do this hard work. So for this year, we are going to, and this is not in order and no specific times, but we are going to Singapore, Berlin, Switzerland, Ireland, Spain, Denver, Las Vegas, London, and Norway. Looking into your crystal ball, which trip will be the most fun?
Oh, well, that's a trick question. Which trip will be the most fun? Hate that question. They will all be fun. But the first big trip that we're taking, and when we do this much travel, the only thing I can do is focus on the next trip happening, because Spain is in May and I'm really excited about that, but we're going to 6 countries before. I think the one I'm most excited about is Singapore. I've never been to Asia in any capacity. The only time I've been on that side of planet Earth is to go to Australia, which is polar opposite. How good is that movie, Crazy Rich Asians? Every time I watch it, I sob. The wedding scene where the water floods into the church and I Can't Help Falling in Love with You's playing. I cry every time. Last time was on a plane and a girl literally grabbed my arm and was like, "Are you okay?" I was sobbing. But that is a dream of mine. Singapore is so futuristic. It's such an important global business hub. I love Asian food. I hear there's like a squid salad that I really want to try. Basically, they have like a bed of seaweed and then they have a live squid and they cut its little legs off into the salad. So the squid legs are still moving.
You're kidding.
Yeah. Are you going to try it?
If you try it, I'll do it, but I don't know. You're really going to eat a live squid while it's wiggling? What are you, like I mean, that's the most carnivore thing you could do. Carnivore, I guess, like animalistic. Carnivore is not technically the right word because it's a fish, but
I don't know. I feel like you eat stuff all the time and you don't know how savagely it was prepared. Like crawfish, for example, you don't even know how sad it is to be at a crawfish boil and actually be standing over the pot of water. They boil all these crawfish alive. They're like screaming as they go into the pot.
Oh, don't say it. All right. All right. Your answer is Singapore. Let's not talk about the screaming things going into a boiling pot.
And then I'm really excited to go back to London because London is just too freaking cool. So
London is very cool. I'm very excited for London. Okay. It's been a while, but I have not been on the Iberian Peninsula in over a decade. And I am most looking forward to gallivanting around Spain. I love Spain. I love the food. I love the culture. The architecture is different. I'm just really looking forward to it. We're going to 2 places in Spain, which I Well, I've been to Barcelona, but I wasn't really in Barcelona. I was so young and so poor when I went that the thought of buying dinner for 20 euros, I was like, oh my God, I cannot do this. So we'll do Barcelona properly this time as mature adults. And then the part of Spain that we're going to is going to be very cool. Little coastal town in Spain. So I think it's going to be amazing. And, but yeah, you're right that they're all really cool locations. And I think looking back on this will be an interesting clip to pull. It'll be interesting for you and I to talk about this to see what was the biggest surprise. Like, is Berlin going to be insanely fun in the middle of the winter and we just were discounting it? Is Denver going to be cool? I mean, we've been to Denver a bunch, but is that going to stand out against some of the other global powerhouse locations that we're going to? I don't know. I'm going with Spain though. Spain is just cool. And the time of year we're going, I think it's going to be perfect.
I think tapas are the most reasonable way to eat. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my God. Totally agree
Like,
with you.
best for your diet, best for digestion. You're not going to hate yourself after. I love tapas. I Googled how tapas got started, and it was back in 1221. Oh my God. King Alfonso X of Castile he was recovering from an illness. And so he was eating small dishes between meals with his wine. And that's how tapas got started. Is that true?
Interesting.
I don't know, but that's what Google told me.
Anytime that you put a very specific number next to a fact, it makes whatever you say after sound more official.
100%. It's the truth. But yeah, I couldn't be more excited. I'm excited for the pods that will follow these adventures because never been to Switzerland. The Norway thing will be so fun. That's our team offsite. It's definitely the biggest and greatest team offsite All Fly's ever seen. So really exciting. We'll have a lot to talk about. And let us know what you think about your 2024 predictions or something we didn't cover. I love anyone predicting the future. So comment on our stuff. Let us know what you think. And happy freaking New Year, Kenneth.
Happy New Year. Let's make 2024 an awesome year for the pod. For the pod listeners, if you've come this far and stayed with us, our episodes may be a touch shorter. We may miss some weeks, but if we ever miss content, know that we're going to be working on longer form content. So if you're listening to this, please like and subscribe to YouTube. I'm shilling us on YouTube. We're going to double down on YouTube this year, and we're going to produce some content that's not pod related, but is travel related. So please check us out on YouTube and wherever you watch your video. So there is video on Spotify. And yeah, Happy New Year. And here's to making 2024 the best year yet. For travel nerds, for the business, for us, for everyone, and for Taylor Swift. We hope you have a wonderful 2024.
Happy New Year, Taylor. Later, nerds.